Hello, everyone. Welcome back. With me, I have Brown, AY, and Shola as usual. There are quite a lot of talking points today, and first of all, we'll be starting with breaking news coming from Real Madrid Football Club. And the news is that Real Madrid has cut ties with manager Xabi Alonso just after less than 8 months on the touchline. You know, and the announcement came less than 24 hours after the Los Blancos suffered a 3-2 defeat to Barcelona in the Spanish Super Cup final. He has been under pressure, since joining the club, and it is said that it was by mutual agreement, not necessarily a sack. And just a couple of minutes after that, successor was announced as Alvaro Arbeloa, who was a former player at the club also. And just before we get into discussing the points, do you think he should have been sacked or not? Because there are other clubs somewhere in England who waited for so long until they sacked their manager. Some are they're even holding on to the manager, hoping that he will win them the Premier League, right? So we will get there later. So let's just look at some of the stats. So Real Madrid at the moment are currently second in La Liga. They've lost only 2 games, right? And drawn 3, won 14 out of 19, which looks like a very good record. In the last 5 games, they've won 4 and lost just 1. In the Champions League, they are also not doing badly, although you'd expect that they would be in a better position than being in seventh, right? They played 6 games, won 4, and lost 2. And just over the past weekend, they lost against Barcelona in the Spanish Super Cup. Perhaps this was what may have triggered, the mutual agreement that led to him leaving Real Madrid and all of that. Brown, what do you think? Should he have been sacked? Should they have given him more time? Because the records are not bad, right? In fact, better than a lot of clubs in England that have kept up their manager till date, or who
Yeah,
sacked their manager later, right? So, what do you
I
think? What are
mean,
your thoughts?
I mean, the news of Xabi Alonso parting ways with Real Madrid came as a shock to me. Given that he has played only 34 matches in total with good number of wins, 24 wins at a matter of fact, 4 draws and only 6 losses. But personally, and I mean, amongst those losses is the most recent against Barcelona. Personally, I think if you go by the record, it's not a sackable record. However, the biggest challenge with Papa P, as we call him, Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, is losing against Barcelona, right? Losing against Barcelona is the problem. And I feel like I haven't been there, played 2 Super Cups. Unfortunately, he's yet to win a silverware with this team. And he has been sitting first in the La Liga table, but he has lost maybe 2 games and he's currently sitting second. But the loss against Barcelona for me was the final straw. And losing against Barcelona the way he did from a position where I feel he had good players, because I don't understand why Kylian Mbappe was still on the bench for that finals. So losing the way he did, I think, was what triggered this sack. They were very open at the back. If you see through the game, in the midfield, they were very porous. Barcelona was literally running through them. And losing the way they did, even though he was playing against a Barcelona side that were not as deadly as they once were. And then
Prolific as it used to be, yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, that for me was the reason why he was sacked. Has he gotten a very terrible record at Real Madrid? Absolutely not. But unfortunately, losing to Barcelona is a no-no for Papa P. Hence the reason why Alonso was sacked. So yeah, quite unfortunate. Is the timing right? You can never say, because Papa P hardly goes wrong with managers for the most part. Hence the reason why Madrid has so many trophies. So we can't really say if the timing was the best or not. So yeah, that's why I think he was sacked.
Oh, okay. So, would you guys say that, and where you go next, would you guys say that Alonso is one of those rigid coaches who has just one style in his mind and is also hell bent, kind of the Amorim case, and is also hell bent on implementing that style? If it doesn't work, he doesn't have a plan B. Because at Bayer Leverkusen, he played a certain style of football, right? Where he had his, I can't remember this guy that is with Liverpool now, and then their left back, Grimaldo, and what's his name? Liverpool's right back.
Uh, uh, uh,
But
Frimpong. Frimpong,
Frimpong,
Jeremy
yes, he had them
Frimpong.
busting forward and all of that. But he has tried to do something similar with Real Madrid, benching the so-called experienced players for the younger ones. It hasn't quite worked out like that. Madrid has not played really sweet, fluid football like we saw under Zidane or and the likes. Anyway, could this also have been some of the reasons why he was sacked? Leaving experienced players on the bench and all of that.
So, number one, I would say yes and maybe no, because he is someone that wants his team to play, to dominate the game. He wants them to control the game through possession. He wants to be very compact without the ball and not give people their freedom to play. And I think his most common formation is it 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1. That's at Madrid he played more maybe 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. And I think he also had issues with players, with managing certain profile of players. For instance, the most popular and the most obvious,
Vinicius Junior.
Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior is a player that actually needs a very tough manager to handle him because of his kind of attitude, because of his type of player. He's good. Look at the goal he scored. He's good, and he needs a manager that would manage him well. But to answer your initial question, I think Madrid is a team that they are a very, very big team. So they don't have that time to be patient with coaches like we do in the Premier League. And like Brown said, that's why they have trophies. You will see a small boy at Madrid that has maybe 2 or 3 Champions Leagues already.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, someone like Thomas Partey, before he left Arsenal, I don't think he won any major trophy. And he played well at Arsenal. So you see anyways, Modric is not small. See how many Champions League he
Yeah, he has.
Hazard, as small as he was, as
He didn't really even play.
As injury
Yeah,
prone as he
really-
was.
yeah.
Ceballos, Arsenal's former, he just went there and won Champions Leagues. Madrid has always been a team that they are not always patient with their coaches, and I guess that is also due to the fact that in Spain, the top 4, maybe starting, is Madrid. The competition
top 2 at least.
Madrid, Barca. Then you can have maybe Sevilla,
Atletico Madrid.
all those ones. So if you are not first, you have to be second. And Madrid, and I guess it's also because of their run of games, and the most recent one, like we said, was the one against Barca. Imagine Arsenal losing consistently against Tottenham. So it's I think that is actually why, because of the recent results, and because like Brown also pointed out, they are not patient with players, with coaches rather. If you don't give them what they want, both in pattern of play and consistency in results, they don't have patience with coaches. So yeah.
Shala?
Me, if you just go. If you just go. You can't be losing to Real Madrid. You can't be losing to Barcelona all the time. Although they won the last El Clasico, but that El Clasico was even Lamine Yamal that gave them the motivation to win that match, because it was trash talking Real Madrid, and they had like that ginger all of a sudden just to come out and play. But I mean, look at the players that Real Madrid have, for crying out loud. They have Jude Bellingham, who few years ago we were like thinking he was going to even be the Ballon d'Or winner. They have Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe is moving mad like Ronaldo now.
Valverde.
They have Valverde,
Rudiger,
who can just shoot it from anywhere and then
Mendy.
it enters. They have Vinicius Junior. I mean, Vinicius Junior. You can say all you want about a player being like the temperament of the player or something like that, but as long as he delivers on the pitch of play, look at Victor Osimhen for Nigeria, for crying out loud. We all can say, attitude, but hang it up there, he's not sitting, his course, forget story. We move on.
Rodrigo.
So, Rodrigo was even having an issue with also the manager recently. Like, he was also on the bench. He was like, why am I on the bench? Like, these are players that you should try to incorporate them within your team, have them within your team. And let's not also forget that they spent big for him. They brought in like really, really nice defenders from Bournemouth. So they brought players for him. They have also a super goalkeeper. in Courtois. Courtois is like one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now. So you shouldn't, like, first of all, you shouldn't be losing the advantage that you had in La Liga. Barcelona are not going to leave that top position for Real Madrid. They are just not going to leave it, especially with the way they are playing now, and also with the way Rashford is also Rashford.
Is Rashford still in form? Is Rashford?
He was informed. He was informed. Although he lost one stupid chance, like one
Is he
almost
still in
last
form?
chance in the next class. But
he
I
was.
think
He's
he still
not-
is. Like he's still there. So, but my own point is, I like Papa Perez. Why? No matter the caliber of the coach, we saw what he did with Mourinho. You know, that third season of Mourinho, no silverware in view, sack him. Carlo Ancelotti, no silverware, let him go. You know, Zinedine live on his time or also no silverware, and then he also had to
I think
he also had to
I
let
think he
him.
left on his. I think he
They
left.
won
Yeah.
Champions League now.
I think that
He
they
won
respect
Champions League, and then
that they respect their
left on his
managers that
own,
much
but
that
last
they don't actually sack them.
yes, he left on his own.
Yeah.
Also, look at what this man did with Ronaldo. Ronaldo was jam talking. They were having issues with deal and stuff like that. He was like, you know what, this guy is stupid. If you want to go, go.
Go.
And Ronaldo left, and it's almost as though that was like the decline of Ronaldo after he left. Sad to see, but it was almost as though when Ronaldo left, things started like falling apart for him. He went to Juventus, he didn't work out. He came back to United, it didn't work out. Then he had to resort to Saudi Arabia. You know,
But
Ronaldo can still deliver on the big.
was already at the peak. I mean, you already won everything.
When Ronaldo left Real Madrid, Ronaldo still went on to Juventus to go and score 100 plus goals.
Yeah.
So, and of course, in your natural habitat, with the crops of players that they have, you know, Ronaldo could still deliver like 200 goals, even in that Real Madrid. So, but you see, a man, this is a no-nonsense football club president. No matter the caliber of the coach, no matter if he sees that, I also think that this is like a fan problem. The fans in Spain, they are not as patient as the fans in the Premier League. These people were booing Ronaldo for crying out loud.
Yeah.
They were booing Benzema.
True.
Bale, how many times they booed him? Ronaldo will be scoring like this and they'll still be booing him. So these are like the kind of crazy fans that they have in Real Madrid and in Spain in general, right? So, but for me, what tops it for me is that I like that president. That's one of the reasons why he has been successful so far. I like him. He doesn't take nonsense. And also, sorry, I also have to link it up with Amorim. Forget process. Forget ideas. You are brought in for your ideas, but at the same time, you also need to deliver results. You know, it just shows you how badly they are running clubs in the Premier League. Left to Papa Perez, Arteta will have been long gone. And nothing is going to happen. And they will have probably delivered trophy for Arsenal way before now. So, to me, I think it's so sad. Especially, I wanted to see them succeed together. You know, Xabi Alonso. Of course, he also had like this good comment coming from Jose Mourinho when Jose Mourinho was asked like, which of his players does he think would make a good manager? And of course, he said Xabi Alonso. He explained why. And of course, this is a coach that has done it. He won the Bundesliga unbeaten, you know. And so this is even someone that has a track record. He went to Real Madrid. It's just so sad that it didn't work out in the end. But I mean, I can't blame Papa Perez. This is football. And if you run football clubs like this, to be honest, no doubt that Real Madrid have been successful. Because when you run football club like this, like no matter who you are, just deliver results. And you were saying something about maybe you want to play this type of way or this type of way. No. Xabi Alonso was flexible when he joined. He was flexible. He was flexible. He wasn't like trying to be rigid to his style of play. He was flexible. He tried so many things and he was getting the results, to be honest. I just think that he ran out of his depth. Perhaps he's starting to lose the dressing room, especially with clashes with Vinicius Junior and also the initial clash with Rodrigo. So, because they like especially the draws that they have, these are matches that they could have won, you know, and stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, I am very sure that he's not going to be out of job for too long because, of course, he's a good manager. Perhaps Liverpool will even call on him, especially with the way Arne Slot is moving. And also maybe Jurgen Klopp.
And the slot is moving towards sacking.
Exactly, it's moving towards sacking. It's moving out of the door already. So it's just so sad, but I think all in all, Papa Perez, I think he made a very good decision, and I think Real Madrid will succeed. Real Madrid always succeed anyway.
One more
I
thing
think that for
about
me,
him, I
it's
think
a,
he's actually a very good businessman. See the way he handles transfers. He doesn't
Yes,
he
he
doesn't
just
even
goes, gets what he wants, and
he
that's it.
gets
Not
what he wants or waits until you
until
run
you are
down
free,
his
value
you become a free agent.
and you will come yourself.
exactly. And
Yeah,
also when he wants to sell, look at they sold Casemiro to United, and we bought Casemiro. And we paid Casemiro such a big wage. How did that man scam us to sell Casemiro to us when Casemiro was already like a tired leg for crying out loud? And we were already seeing rumors that Vinicius Junior is going. He has already been linked to United even for 150 million and stuff like that. If that feud between him and Xabi Alonso continued, there is no reason for any club to pay that big amount of money for him because this guy was not going to renew his deal. They might as well just wait and allow him to come for free. You know, he wouldn't want to have that because Vinicius Junior, say what you want to say today, he's still one of the best players in the world. Now imagine that kind of player leaving your club for free. Even Ronaldo didn't leave for free. They got 100 million off Ronaldo. So now imagine. So this man is a businessman, and the best thing is, maybe pay. I don't even know whether he's going to pay Xabi Alonso or anything like that, but perhaps pay the compensation and just bring in a new manager.
If they say it's a mutual agreement, it might be that he left with some.
Maybe that he left.
But I just wanted to speak also about the records. While they've lost 2 games, they've drawn 3. If you have this sort of record in the Premier League, you won 14 games. You would be, you would know, you know where you will be,
process.
right?
Yes.
But you know where you'll be. They lost against Atletico Madrid 5-2, which was an abysmal display from them in that game, right? And this was far September 27, which was a couple of months back.
And that was
then
the
they
debut.
drew against Rayo Vallecano 0-0. And then they drew against Elche consecutively, right? And then they went on to draw against Girona again, 1-1. These are games that they should have won, right? And then they lost against Celta Vigo. They also should have won this one. Then lost against Man City in the Champions League, and then lost against Barcelona in the Super Cup. For me, I don't think this is a sackable thing, but perhaps there has been some sort of relationship breakdown. First with the players, of course. Real Madrid, I don't think players leave like that, on a free, especially star players. So, like Shola said, if he continues to keep these players on the bench, their value will drop. And I'm sure Real Madrid does not want this. So I would assume, or I would say, it's more of a relationship breakdown than, Madrid are not performing really well. Also, there are questions around the style of play or how good Madrid are. Yes, they win games, which is what Madrid do on the regular. Even when I've not known Madrid to be that magnificent, that team that plays magnificent football, or they do things quickly, quick pass, counter attack, they score their goals. I think Alonso wanted to bring in something more, more fun, more stylish. I'm not sure if the fans appreciate that. They just want to win. They want to beat Barcelona, especially. So I would say overall that, in my opinion, that's probably more of a relationship breakdown than on-field results. Brown, do you want to add anything?
I mean, you guys have said all of the things that needed to be said, to be honest. Other than what you've said, the only thing I would say is that I just hope this new crop of coaches that are coming along, even though they have done well in their previous job, when you come to a new job, you try to firstly understand the system. And when you do, you maintain that same system whilst you begin to implement your own gradually instead of making that swift change. Because when you begin to make those swift changes and then friction begins to happen here and there, it becomes bad for the coaches. Because right now it looks like the easiest person to change in a club is the coach. And these owners do not have patience like they used to 10, 12 years ago. They will sack you and bring another coach that might even be worse than you. No problem. They'll sack him again, bring another person until they get that success. And nobody can argue the successes that Madrid have had over the years. The same thing with Chelsea under Roman Abramovich, continuous sacking and getting good players. Because, I mean, the difference between Madrid and some of all these other clubs in the Premier League is that as much as they sack coaches for not giving them silverware and results on the pitch, they also spend money to buy players. And in addition to that, the competition in the La Liga is not as much as it is in the Prem. So Madrid and Barca are literally the biggest spenders. So how come we are spending so much on players for you, yet you cannot beat the one rival we have in Madrid and in Barcelona, sorry. So it's a sin to not be able to beat Barcelona, and it is even a worse sin to have lost a final the way you did. So for that, he deserves to be sacked. If he comes back, sack him again. That's what I can say.
Also, the results against Barcelona has not been really good in the past couple of years. Right?
Hasn't. And that is the
that's why I was. That's why you remember. If you remember, that was this time that we were saying that which manager should come to United, and Zinedine Zidane was there, and I was like, I was like, you guys are not giving Zinedine Zidane the credit that he deserves. Ronaldo won 2 La Liga in 10 or 9 years. 2 La Liga. And the second one came from Zinedine Zidane. When Zinedine Zidane took over, he won like 2 La Ligas of them, or thereabout, out of the 3 times, out of the 3 seasons that he was there. So
I know that was Champions League for the entire season.
Papa Perez can shout all he wants. Barcelona are really the king in La Liga, especially with Messi. You know, that Barcelona of Messi, you know, like they were like winning everything. They were winning everything. So, Barcelona with Messi, with Xavi, with Iniesta.
Guardiola as their coach.
With Guardiola, even with this Tito Villanova, even with Luis Enrique. Barcelona have like I think they are, so you can't have that man can't have that. He has, if you notice, the dominance of Real Madrid is only solely over the years in the Champions League. I don't know whatever crazy thing comes over them in that Champions League, right? But in the league, and if you ask any football fan or any football manager, they will tell you that the league is the most important thing, right? They will tell you that they will, you know, this competition, some managers just know how to play competition, they can get it for you. But that consistency, week in, week out,
they played 38 games. Yeah.
Exactly. That marathon, that feeling, that's the real feeling. That one is the real managerial feeling that they will tell you that this is the real deal. And Madrid have not won it like how many have they won in the past 1 decade? Not so much compared to Barcelona. And you also know that Atletico Madrid was also in between. They came in between. Diego Simeone won 2 in between all of them. When he bought Suarez back, Suarez also won. You know, so with the league, Madrid have not been so successful. You know, you can cloud this with. That's why I was like, why did Zinedine didn't have to leave? This guy already like delivered like La Liga for you when you've not even had. Even Mourinho managed one La Liga. Mourinho, almighty Mourinho managed 1 La Liga.
Mourinho suffered against Barcelona too.
He suffered so much. There was a time that they beat him like 5-0.
I remember. I think I was in secondary school at that time.
Yeah, he really suffered. Ronaldo suffered. Ronaldo over suffered in the end.
I think Mourinho eventually beat Barcelona before he left, but he suffered.
He beat, but he suffered so much. So
perhaps Alonso moves to Liverpool next, maybe.
I think so. I think if Arne Slot cannot get his things together, I think we will see Xabi Alonso in Liverpool.